A startling discovery. In the vast expanse of the Andromeda Galaxy, the Galactic Council convened for an emergency meeting. Representatives from a myriad of advanced alien civilizations gathered, their faces etched with a mix of awe and trepidation. The reason for this unprecedented assembly was a startling discovery. The humans, a relatively young spacefaring species, had constructed the largest dreadnought ever seen. The human endeavor. For decades, humanity had been quietly toiling away in the far reaches of their solar system. Unbeknownst to the rest of the galactic community, they had pooled their resources and technological prowess into a single, monumental project, the creation of a warship that would dwarf anything the universe had ever witnessed. The Galactic Council's reaction. As news of this human endeavor reached the Council, reactions ranged from disbelief to outright fear. Many of the older, more established races scoffed at the notion that a species as young as humanity could achieve such a feat. Others, however, saw the potential for a new balance of power in the galaxy. Ambassador Xyloth, a respected elder from the ancient Zephyrian civilization, called for calm and reason. "We must not jump to conclusions," he cautioned. "The humans may have built this dreadnought as a defensive measure, or perhaps as a symbol of their technological achievements. We should seek to understand their intentions before making any rash judgments." A call for diplomacy. As the council debated, a consensus began to emerge. They would dispatch a diplomatic envoy to Earth, seeking to open a dialogue with the human leaders responsible for the dreadnought's construction. The envoy would be led by none other than Ambassador Xyloth himself, known for his wisdom and skill in interspecies negotiations. As the meeting adjourned, a sense of uncertainty hung in the air. The galaxy had been forever changed by the humans' creation, and the path forward was anything but clear. Would this be the dawn of a new era of cooperation between humanity and the galactic community, or the spark that ignited a conflict unlike any the universe had ever seen? Only time would tell. As Ambassador Xyloth and his team prepared for their historic mission to Earth, the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and the humans' next move would determine the course of history for generations to come. The diplomatic mission. As Ambassador Xyloth's sleek spacecraft entered Earth's orbit, he couldn't help but marvel at the ingenuity of the human species. The planet below was a tapestry of technological wonders, from sprawling megacities to vast networks of energy hubs. It was clear that humanity had come a long way since their first tentative steps into the cosmos. Meeting with human leaders. The diplomatic envoy touched down at the United Nations Galactic Embassy, a towering structure that served as a testament to Earth's growing influence on the intergalactic stage. Xyloth and his team were greeted by a delegation of human leaders, each representing a different facet of Earth's government and scientific community. Among them was Admiral Norris Stark, the brilliant strategist behind the Dreadnought project. Her piercing gaze and confident demeanor left no doubt that she was a force to be reckoned with. Alongside her stood Dr. Elias Nakamura, the chief engineer responsible for the warship's groundbreaking technologies. The human perspective. As the two sides sat down to discuss the implications of the Dreadnought's existence, Admiral Stark was quick to assuage any fears. "We built this ship not as a tool of aggression," she explained, "but as a means to safeguard our species and our way of life. The universe is a dangerous place, and we refuse to be caught unprepared." Dr. Nakamura chimed in, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "The technologies we've developed for this project have applications far beyond military might," he said. "We've made breakthroughs in energy production, propulsion systems, and material sciences that could benefit all spacefaring civilizations." A tentative alliance. Ambassador Xyloth listened intently, his mind racing with possibilities. He saw in the humans a potential ally, a species whose ingenuity and determination could be harnessed for the greater good of the galaxy. Yet he also recognized the need for caution, for history had shown that power unchecked could lead to ruin. As the talks continued, a tentative alliance began to take shape. The humans would share their knowledge and resources with the Galactic Council, while in return, The Council would offer its wisdom and guidance as humanity took its place among the stars. A new era begins. With the agreement in place, Admiral Stark extended an invitation to Ambassador Xyloth and his team to tour the Dreadnought itself. As they stepped aboard the massive vessel, even the seasoned diplomat found himself in awe of its sheer scale and technological prowess. As the tour concluded, Xyloth turned to his human counterparts with a smile. "Today marks the beginning of a new era," he said. "An era in which humanity and the galactic community will work hand in hand to forge a brighter future for all. May this Dreadnought stand not as a symbol of war, but as a beacon of hope and unity." And with those words, the fate of the galaxy began to shift. The humans had taken their first steps onto the intergalactic stage, and the universe would never be the same. The Dreadnought unveiled. As news of the alliance between humanity and the Galactic Council spread, curiosity and anticipation grew among the varied species of the cosmos. The time had come for the humans to unveil their crowning achievement, the Dreadnought that had sent shockwaves through the intergalactic community. A marvel of engineering. The unveiling ceremony took place in the heart of the Sol system, against the backdrop of the massive shipyards that had birthed the Dreadnought. As the veil was lifted, the assembled dignitaries and media from across the galaxy gasped in collective awe. The ship was a marvel of engineering, a testament to human ingenuity and determination. Its sleek, angular lines belied the raw power that thrummed within its core. Stretching over 10 kilometers from stem to stern, it dwarfed even the mightiest warships of the Council races. The Prometheus Rising. Admiral Stark took to the podium, her voice ringing with pride as she addressed the gathered crowd. "Today, we christen this vessel the Prometheus Rising," she declared. "Named for the Titan who brought fire to humanity, it symbolizes our species' unquenchable thirst for knowledge and our determination to forge our own destiny among the stars." As the Admiral spoke, the Dreadnought's systems came to life. Its quantum drive core pulsed with an ethereal blue glow, while along its flanks, banks of advanced weaponry thrummed with latent power. Yet for all its military might, the Prometheus Rising was also a ship of exploration and discovery, equipped with state-of-the-art scientific laboratories and facilities for diplomatic engagements. A symbol of unity. Ambassador Xyloth joined Admiral Stark on the stage, his presence a powerful symbol of the newfound alliance between humanity and the galactic community. "The Prometheus Rising is more than just a ship," he said. "It is a testament to what can be achieved when species work together in the spirit of cooperation and mutual understanding." As the ceremony concluded, the Dreadnought began its maiden voyage, a triumphant procession through the assembled fleet of Council ships. The sight of the human vessels sailing side by side with the ancient crafts of the galaxy's elder races was a potent reminder of the changing times. The journey ahead. With the Prometheus Rising as their flagship, humanity was now poised to take its place as a true intergalactic power. The ship would serve as an emissary of Earth, a roving ambassador and guardian of human interests across the cosmos. Yet even as the galaxy celebrated this new era of cooperation, whispers of discontent and fear could be heard in the shadowed corners of the universe. Some races looked upon the human Dreadnought with envy and resentment, seeing in it a challenge to their own power and influence. As the Prometheus Rising set forth on its maiden voyage, Admiral Stark and her crew knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges and dangers. But armed with their indomitable human spirit and the support of their newfound allies, they were ready to face whatever the universe had in store. The journey of the Prometheus Rising had only just begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The first test. As the Prometheus Rising ventured deeper into the uncharted reaches of the galaxy, its crew settled into the rhythm of life aboard the Dreadnought. Scientists and diplomats worked side by side, studying the wonders of the cosmos and forging new bonds with the diverse species they encountered. An unexpected distress call. It was during a routine survey mission that the ship's sensors picked up an unexpected distress call. The signal was weak and garbled, but its origin was clear. a small, uncharted planet on the fringes of Council space. Admiral Stark wasted no time in ordering the Prometheus Rising to investigate. As the Dreadnought dropped out of warp near the planet, the cause of the distress call became all too clear. A pirate raid. The planet was under attack by a notorious band of space pirates, their ramshackle ships swarming the defenseless colony like locusts. The marauders were known for their brutality and their disregard for the lives of their victims, and the colony's meager defenses were no match for their onslaught. Without hesitation, Admiral Stark ordered the Prometheus Rising to intervene. The Dreadnought's advanced weaponry made short work of the pirate ships, its targeting systems picking off the marauders with surgical precision. In a matter of minutes, the raid was over, and the colony was saved. A display of power. As the grateful colonists hailed the Prometheus Rising as their saviors, news of the human intervention spread like wildfire across the galactic networks. The Dreadnought's decisive action had sent a powerful message. Humanity was not only a force for diplomacy and cooperation, but also a formidable military power. In the aftermath of the raid, Ambassador Xyloth and his council colleagues praised the humans for their swift and selfless action. The Prometheus Rising has proven itself to be more than just a symbol, he declared. It is a true guardian of the innocent, a shield against the darkness that threatens us all. Ripples of change. Yet even as the galaxy celebrated the human victory, Admiral Stark knew that the pirate raid was only the beginning. The Prometheus Rising had drawn the attention of the universe, and not all of that attention would be benevolent. As the Dreadnought continued its mission, Stark and her crew remained vigilant. They knew that the ship's very existence was a challenge to the status quo, and that there would be those who sought to test its mettle. But the humans were undaunted. With the Prometheus Rising as their sword and shield, they were ready to face whatever challenges the galaxy had in store. And in the process, they would forge a new path for their species, one that would lead to a brighter future for all. The first test had been passed, but the journey of the Prometheus Rising was far from over. The Dreadnought and its crew had proven their worth, but the greatest challenges were yet to come. Shadows of dissent. As the Prometheus Rising continued its mission of diplomacy and exploration, tensions began to simmer beneath the surface of the galactic community. While many species celebrated the human Dreadnought as a symbol of progress and cooperation, others viewed it with suspicion and fear. The Xalaxian Consortium. Chief among the dissenting voices was the Xalaxian Consortium, a powerful alliance of industrialized worlds on the far side of the galaxy. The Xalaxians had long been wary of the growing influence of the Galactic Council, seeing it as a threat to their own autonomy and way of life. To the Xalaxians, the Prometheus Rising represented the ultimate expression of Council overreach. They saw the Dreadnought not as a guardian of peace, but as a tool of oppression, a weapon that could be turned against any who dared to challenge the Council's authority. Whispers of rebellion. As the Prometheus Rising made its way through Xalaxian space, the ship's sensors began to pick up troubling signs. Encrypted communications trafficked between Xalaxian worlds, hinting at a growing movement of rebellion and secession. Admiral Stark and Ambassador Xyloth knew that they had to act quickly to head off the growing crisis. They requested an audience with the leaders of the Xalaxian Consortium, hoping to find a diplomatic solution to the rising tensions. A tense negotiation. The meeting took place aboard a massive Xalaxian battle station, a fortress of steel and armor bristling with weaponry. As Stark and Xyloth sat down across from the Xalaxian leadership, the air crackled with tension and barely contained hostility. The Xalaxian leader, a grizzled veteran of countless wars, wasted no time in laying out his grievances. The Galactic Council has overstepped its bounds, he growled, his eyes fixed on the human admiral. Your Dreadnought is a symbol of your arrogance, a reminder that you seek to impose your will on the rest of the galaxy. A plea for unity. Admiral Stark met the Xalaxian's gaze unflinchingly, her voice steady and calm as she spoke. The Prometheus Rising is not a weapon of conquest, she said. It is a tool of peace, a means to bring the species of the galaxy together in common cause. She gestured to Ambassador Xyloth, the elder statesman nodding in agreement. The Galactic Council seeks not to dominate, but to unite, Stark continued. We understand your fears and your concerns, but we implore you to see the bigger picture. The challenges we face as a galaxy are too great for any one species to face alone. The specter of war. For a long moment, the Talaxian leader was silent, his eyes searching the faces of the human and the council representative. Finally, he spoke, his voice heavy with resignation. You speak of unity, but your actions betray your true intentions, he said. The Talaxian consortium will not be subjugated, not by the council, and not by your Dreadnought. With those words, the meeting ended, the Talaxian delegation storming from the room in a flurry of anger and recrimination. Admiral Stark and Ambassador Xyloth were left alone, the specter of war looming large over the galaxy. As the Prometheus Rising departed Talaxian space, its crew knew that they had their work cut out for them. The shadows of dissent had been exposed, and the galaxy stood on the brink of a conflict that could tear it apart. The journey of the Prometheus Rising had taken a dark turn, and the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. Only time would tell if the Dreadnought and its crew would be able to navigate the treacherous waters ahead and bring the galaxy back from the brink of catastrophe. The gathering storm. In the wake of the failed negotiations with the Talaxian consortium, the galaxy teetered on the brink of war. The Prometheus Rising and its crew found themselves at the center of a brewing conflict that threatened to engulf the entire cosmos. Diplomatic efforts. Admiral Stark and Ambassador Xyloth worked tirelessly to defuse the crisis, reaching out to allies and adversaries alike in a desperate bid to find a peaceful solution. They convened emergency sessions of the Galactic Council, imploring the assembled species to put aside their differences and work together for the greater good. Yet even as they spoke, the Talaxian consortium was on the move. Vast fleets of warships gathered on the borders of Council space, their weapons primed and ready for battle. The Talaxians had made their intentions clear. They would not be swayed by mere words, and they were prepared to fight for their independence. A plea for peace. As the galaxy held its breath, Ambassador Xyloth made one final attempt to avert disaster. He traveled to the heart of Talaxian space, risking his own life to meet with the consortium's leaders face to face. In an impassioned speech, the elder statesman laid bare the folly of war, the devastation that would be wrought if the Talaxians and the council came to blows. He spoke of the countless lives that would be lost, the worlds that would be shattered, and the scars that would linger for generations. The drums of war. For a moment, it seemed as though Xyloth's words might have swayed the Talaxian leadership. The consortium's generals and politicians looked to one another, uncertainty etched upon their faces. But then, a single voice rang out, cutting through the silence like a knife. It was the Talaxian's supreme commander, his eyes burning with the fire of conviction. No more talk, he growled. No more compromise. The time for diplomacy has passed. Now we fight for our freedom, and for the future of our people. With those words, the drums of war began to beat. The Talaxian fleets surged forward, their weapons blazing as they clashed with the forces of the Galactic Council. The Prometheus Rising found itself at the heart of the maelstrom, its crew fighting tooth and nail to hold the line against the onslaught. The tide of battle. For days, the battle raged, the skies above a dozen worlds alight with the fire of 1,000 suns. The Prometheus Rising and its allies fought with courage and determination, but the Talaxians were relentless, their numbers seemingly endless. As the Dreadnought's shields began to falter under the unrelenting assault, Admiral Stark knew that they were running out of time. She ordered a desperate gambit, a last-ditch effort to turn the tide of battle. The Prometheus Rising plunged into the heart of the Talaxian formation, its weapons blazing as it cut a swath of destruction through the enemy fleet. The Talaxians fought back with everything they had, but the human ship was too fast, too maneuverable, and too heavily armed to be stopped. A glimmer of hope. As the Galaxian fleet reeled from the sudden assault, Admiral Stark saw her chance. She ordered the Prometheus Rising to break off its attack and make a run for the edge of the battle zone, drawing the Galaxians away from the main body of the Council fleet. The gambit worked. The Galaxians, sensing victory within their grasp, surged after the fleeing Dreadnought, leaving themselves exposed and vulnerable. The Council fleet, seizing the opportunity, struck back with devastating force, catching the Galaxians in a pincer movement that left them reeling. As the tide of battle began to turn, Admiral Stark knew that they had bought themselves a reprieve, but at a terrible cost. The Prometheus Rising was badly damaged, its crew battered and bloodied. And though the Galaxians had been dealt a blow, they were far from defeated. The war was far from over, and the galaxy still hung in the balance. But for now, the Prometheus Rising and its crew could only lick their wounds and prepare for the battles yet to come. The journey of the Prometheus Rising had reached its darkest hour, but even in the midst of the gathering storm, there was still a glimmer of hope. The Dreadnought and its crew had proven their mettle, and they would not rest until the galaxy was safe once more. The final stand. In the aftermath of the battle with the Galaxian Consortium, the Prometheus Rising limped back to the heart of Council space, its hull scarred and battered, its crew exhausted but unbroken. They had bought the galaxy a reprieve, but they knew that it would not last forever. A new strategy. As the Dreadnought underwent repairs and refit, Admiral Stark and Ambassador Xyloth worked feverishly to devise a new strategy. They knew that they could not hope to defeat the Galaxians through brute force alone, not when the Consortium's fleets were so vast and so well-equipped. Instead, they turned to the one weapon that the Galaxians could not match: the ingenuity and determination of the human spirit. They began to recruit allies from among the other species of the galaxy, forging a coalition of the willing that would stand against the Galaxian threat. The plan. The plan was audacious, bordering on the impossible. The Prometheus Rising would lead a strike force deep into Galaxian space, targeting the Consortium's key shipyards and supply lines. At the same time, the Council fleet would launch a massive offensive along the border, drawing the bulk of the Galaxian forces away from their home systems. It was a gamble, but it was the only chance they had. If they could cripple the Galaxian war machine, if they could break the Consortium's will to fight, then perhaps they could bring the conflict to an end before it consumed the entire galaxy. The final battle. As the Prometheus Rising and its allies set out on their mission, they knew that the odds were stacked against them. They were outnumbered and outgunned, facing an enemy that had proven time and again to be both relentless and ruthless. But they also knew that they had something that the Galaxians did not: the courage and determination to fight for what was right, no matter the cost. As the strike force emerged from warp at the heart of the Galaxian shipyards, they were met by a wall of fire. The Consortium's defenses were formidable, their ships and weapons more advanced than anything the Council had ever seen. But the Prometheus Rising and its allies would not be deterred. They fought with a ferocity and a skill that stunned the Galaxians, weaving through the enemy formations like ghosts, striking at key targets with surgical precision. The price of victory. For hours, the battle raged, the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance. Ships exploded and crews died, the void of space, lit by the fire of 1,000 suns. And then, just when all seemed lost, the Galaxian lines began to waver. The relentless assault of the Council forces had taken its toll, and the Consortium's fleets were beginning to crumble. Seizing the moment, Admiral Stark ordered the Prometheus Rising to press the attack. The Dreadnought surged forward, its weapons blazing, its crew united in their determination to see the battle through to the end. And then, with a final, shattering blow, it was over. The Galaxian shipyards lay in ruins, their fleets scattered and broken. The Consortium's will to fight had been shattered, and the galaxy had been saved. But the price of victory had been high. The Prometheus Rising was a ruined battle wreck, its crew bloodied and battered. And though the war was won, the scars it had left would linger for generations. As the Dreadnought limped back to Council space, Admiral Stark and her crew knew that they had accomplished something that would be remembered for all time. They had proven that humanity was a force to be reckoned with, a species that would never back down from a fight, no matter the odds. And though the road ahead would be long and hard, they knew that they had taken the first step towards a brighter future, a future in which the galaxy would be united, not by fear or force, but by the bonds of friendship and understanding. The journey of the Prometheus Rising had come to an end, but the legacy of the Dreadnought and its crew would endure forever, a shining beacon of hope in a galaxy that had for too long been shrouded in darkness.